All right, everyone, we are going to talk about the surface area of a cylinder today and how we get that done. Now, there's a lot of little details that I need you to focus on as I'm explaining this today. All right, so a couple of things. I have my cylinder off to the left-hand side. It has a height of 9 meters and the diameter of 6 meters that I put right here and here. Okay, so that's our information we have of the example we're going to do. Now, in general, a cylinder, in the green bubble, we have 3 regions of a cylinder. We have the 2 circles, which is the top and the bottom of a cylinder. Think of like a can of soup or whatever can you have. And there's actually a rectangle. This rectangle has been rolled up around the circles. And what we have down here, okay, is if we would take this can and peel the middle part apart, it would look like we would have a top circle, a bottom circle, and we would have the whole rectangle that makes up the round part of the part that you hold of a can, if you can picture that in your head. Okay, so this is how we actually find the surface area. Now it's going to be a lot of the same information repeated over and over and over again, so you want to make sure that you're being really, really organized. All right, so what we have is we have 2 circles. And the area of our circles, right, is pi times the radius squared. Remember, radius squared is radius times itself. So if the radius is 3 in our case, because the diameter is 6, remember we divide it in half. The radius times the radius would be like 3 times 3. Not 3 times 2, even though we think that and it looks like it would be right. Remember, it's not. Okay, so we actually have 2 that use this, right? Because we have one circle and the other circle over here. But then this whole rectangle is where I really need you guys to focus in. So normally with the area of a rectangle, we do length times width, right? Or like length times height or something, right? But I want you to understand that yes, we do have the height of the rectangle, but this part right here, okay, is actually the circumference or the distance all the way around those circles. So we're going to do height, or one of the height of the actual cylinder, times this whole side over here, which is 2 times pi times the radius. Okay, so instead of saying length times height, right, we say 2 times pi times radius times the height. So I'm going to write my other area equation over here, which would be my length, or 2 times pi times radius times my height. So we have to have 2 of these and 1 of these. Okay, so these are my main formulas that I am using. In a longhand version, okay, it would be, I'm going to use a different color here. It would be pi r squared plus pi times r squared, because we have 2 circles, plus the area of our rectangle, which we know is 2 times pi times r times height. Whoa, okay? Big, long formula, but I want to point something out. The only information I am using from my example are my radius 3 different times and my height, whoops, and my height right at the end. You get it, okay? So when we are working, we only plug that in, okay? This would be, I would probably do it in 3 separate parts. Now, when we have our information off to the left here, so I'm going to insert that into our equation. All right, so I am going to write pi times radius squared plus pi times radius squared. I'm just pulling it right from the left here. Plus 2 times pi times the radius of 3 times the height, times the height, which we know is 9. Okay, so in your calculator, you would be putting all of this in, which seems overwhelming, but take it step by step. You could do 3.14 times 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. You could then do another 3.14 times 9. And then 9 times 3, right, is 27 times 2, right, which is 54. So you could say 50, I wrote a 5, I said a 5, but wrote a 3. 54 times 3.14. So do you see how I took my 9 times my 3 times my 2 and then multiplied it? So I can go in and I would multiply all of these together and add them up to eventually get my total of 226.08. And because it's surface area, we do meters squared. Okay, so to quick review here, we have a cylinder. Okay, we have a cylinder over here with the height of 9 and the diameter of 6. We have 3 regions. We have 2 circles, and we have a rectangle, but this rectangle has the height and a length, right, or a length and a width. But one of our lengths is not just a number, it is the circumference formula. So like I put way over here to the right, I have the area of pi times r squared, and the area of the rectangle, is 2 times pi times radius times height. Then our work we have is all of this is what you need to show and do. Okay, but I took it step by step. So I have my first step is my formula. My second step, I plugged in my information that I know from my example. My third step is that I did the multiplication that I needed in order to get to my answer or my total down here. Okay, so hopefully this helps.